Hey, what's up, Rangers? It's your boy, Daddy Louie, coming at you again on this fine Monday afternoon. I'm so excited to be here and bring you a brand new model that is gorgeous, by the way. If you are unfamiliar with me, hey, everybody in the chat. If you're not familiar with me, I am a member of the Circle of Nerds. You can find all of my content over on YouTube at youtube.com/Circle of Nerds. I make many game reviews. I also have some painting tutorials for some Power Ranger models, mostly the old stuff. But I do want to start getting some more Power Ranger stuff up there for you guys. But as always, I thank Renegade for having me on stream. I love being here with you guys. So, like the little intro said, I have some new stuff. Ooh, shiny. So this is the Villain Pack number 2, Machine Empire. And the Rise of the Psycho Rangers, which is a huge box, by the way. Lots and lots of good stuff inside of here. And that's what we're painting today. We are painting the Psycho Green Ranger. I put a poll up, not really a poll, but I put a post up on the Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, go join it. Even if you don't own the game, it's still a great place to hang out. But anyway, I posted a little question if what you guys wanted to see first, and there were lots of votes. And it was neck and neck between, unfortunately, not Louie Kaboom. Louie Kaboom did not get a single vote, by the way. No, it came down to Psycho Green and the big guy. What's the big guy's name again? I can't remember. Oh. King Mondo. But Psycho won by 1 vote. So that is what we are painting today, is Psycho Green. So let's go down to the table here. Let's get right up in close and take a look at this awesome model here. Really cool. The pose is going to be a little bit of a challenge because of the way that he is holding his dagger, but it shouldn't be a problem. He really, looking at photos online, he has 3 very basic colors. So he's green, black, and white. We're going to use a dark gray for the black so that we can highlight it if we have time. And the green is like a very vibrant green. So we're going to use Warpstone Glow with some moot green highlights. And then there's like a few little silver bits. And like I said, there's some white on the model, but it's really cool. Yeah, I was trying to look at some pictures online of his back, and that seems to be a little bit harder to find pictures of his back. So I saw some pictures of the toy, and on the toy the green just comes around like the fins of the shoulder here, like the pauldron, and then all the rest of this is black. So we're gonna go based on the toy, just because that's all that I have. That's all that I have access to, really, is the picture of the toy. If anybody knows of any other art out there, feel free to link that in the chat. But looks like we got full house right now. Welcome everybody to the chat. Ziggy, Jay Quellen, AJ, Mechanic, Shago, everybody welcome. So we're going to grab our brushes. Let's see, which brushes should we use today? I think we're gonna go with our favorites. We'll just pull all those out. And we shouldn't need any of those other ones. Yeah, so we're gonna start with the black. It seems to be the most predominant color. So we're going to grab our, let's see, our number 1. And we're going to use, like I said, we're going to use a dark gray. So I like Vallejo model color German gray. It's fairly dark, but it's not black. So when we do throw a black wash on it, it's going to blacken all the recesses and most of the surfaces as well. But then when we highlight, we can highlight back with the German gray, and it will give some of the black dimension. Because black is a very tough color to add dimension to unless you... if you need pictures of the back from the toy. Yeah, I found pictures of the back of the toy. Oh, it looks like we have a birthday tomorrow. Well, happy birthday to you. It is not my birthday anytime soon, so... I don't know why I said that. So how was everybody's weekend? Is everybody's pumped for these Psycho Rangers, I'm sure, as am I. If anybody wants to see anything from out of the box while we're going through here, especially if we have time or take a break, just let me know. I don't mind pulling stuff out and showing it off. I think I've unwrapped everything and got a pretty good look at everything, but... so basically for... let me go back to my... I thought of a really cool way of looking at the... looking at a source image while painting. I have 2 screens. I have 2 monitors. I'd never done that before. So yeah, everything on the model that is black, we're gonna go ahead and just start painting. As always, I have washed the model with soap and water and an old toothbrush, let it dry, and then I did a primed base coat of Wraithbone from Games Workshop, and that's the surface that we're starting with here. While I've got everybody here, and I'll announce it again later, we will not be streaming next week on account of the holiday, and we're actually going to be changing our streaming hours. So next week is kind of a break to like reset everything, and then when we come back, we'll be at our new hours. So that was another post that went up on the Facebook group, looking for people's inputs as to what time would be better for them to watch the stream. And we need to discuss what we want to see next week. So I've been asked to hold off on painting stuff from Machine Empire. There's some other content creators for Renegade that wants their fair share of painting some of the new stuff too. So I've got Rise of the Psycho Ranger box, and they've got Machine Empire. So if you want to see something specific from Rise of the Psycho Rangers next week, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll pick. I know that Renegade has been really, really good about offering up the very first Kickstarter stuff on their future Kickstarters. So I don't think that you'll have an issue, Ziggy, getting more stuff later on. I know that there's even some local game stores that still have some of the Kickstarter stuff on sale. I've seen it in stores before too, so it's not super hard to come by, not like some other Kickstarters. But so right now where I'm painting, I'm just trying to avoid the white, the spots that are going to be white. I'm not being like super careful because I can always fix stuff later. I may take a few liberties with a few spots while painting because not that he's a bland character, because he's not. He's got some really cool features. There's just some spots when looking at the picture it just looks like it would make more sense if there was some green in some other places, but we'll see. We'll see when we get to them. Have I done any Hyperforce Rangers? I have not. I have not painted any Hyperforce Rangers at all. I'm trying to remember. From the Shattered Grid box, I've painted... Obviously, I painted Jen last week. And then I've painted Drakon. I think that might actually be it from that box. I don't think I've painted any of the other stuff yet. Actually, I think that this is all mostly black. I'm just gonna paint in here too. The last time that I played, unfortunately, was a while ago, but my friend was visiting from Italy, and he played Hyperforce Rangers the entire time that we played, and he didn't play anything else, just Hyperforce Rangers, and he really liked them. So at the time, I had held off painting them because he was going to come back and visit, and I was going to let him paint them the next time he came. However, that trip has been delayed indefinitely with COVID and everything, so I will probably just go ahead and paint them at some point. Have I done any foot soldiers? I haven't done any foot soldiers either. Nope. No, when I got my boxes, I was pretty much like, this was obviously before I was painting for Renegade, but the very first thing that I painted was the Megazord. I figure knock out the hardest first, and then that just kind of inspired me to go through all of the Mighty Morphin, and then I wanted some of the bosses and stuff like that. So I've done like Rita. I got all Mighty Morphin done. Rita, Zed, Pumpkin Wrapper, Pudgy. We did the whole Ally box on stream, so everybody in the Ally pack. Alpha, Red Ranger, or not Red Ranger, White Ranger, Green Ranger, 2 Green Rangers, 2 White Rangers. I think we did everything from the Tommy pack, and I think that's about it. But I haven't done any foot soldiers yet. Let's see. I'm glad to see some folks got to do some painting this weekend. Sounds awesome. I bought my kids a trampoline, so I spent all day yesterday building a dang trampoline. That was not fun. And I actually went to a flea market, and I found myself a little Power Ranger treat, which I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. See you later, Ziggy. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Nice. Put together a gunpla. I'm pretty sure I've said it before, but I just don't have the patience for gunplas. I am not a fan of putting models together. I've got too much water on my paintbrush. Let's see. The black goes around the top. Yeah, I haven't played since lockdown either, Neo. I've got a lot of painting done for it, though. So when I do get to play, I'm going to get to play with a lot of painted stuff, which is cool. But yeah, I also haven't played... I haven't played any miniatures games since lockdown at all. I have played a couple, like, board games and stuff. Right now I'm just kind of trying to smudge black in between the arm and the chest here, because it's really tough to see like where the cuts of the green are across the chest. The thing with Power Rangers is, if you have, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like if you have friends that have the game, it could be played remotely. One person controls the movement of the Rangers and everything, obviously, and they would have control of the foot and the foot soldiers and the bosses and stuff. And then you would just have your own cards, because your cards, don't mix with other people's cards, so I feel like it would work. Yeah, I bet if you went on the Facebook group, you would be able to find people to do that with. Yeah, we ended up getting a bunch of cameras when all this started because we needed them for the kids, so we haven't had an issue with finding cameras and stuff. You just got to be willing to look outside of like the normal places. And we also like put our name on like waiting lists and stuff, so when stuff does come available, we know like when it's. Where there's a will, there's a way. Or push comes to shove, you use your phone if you have an iPhone or something. Get you go to like Dollar General and get a cheap tripod or phone holder to hold your phone. I've done that before as well. Kim's little red on the bow. Yeah, yeah. I don't even have any advice for you there. Just, yep, I know the feeling. I know the pain. If you don't use Facebook, there's also a Discord. This is extremely sloppy, in case you guys couldn't tell, but I'm sure you can. Right now, I'm really just, there's so much black, like the model is mostly made up of black, that it's like, I'm really just trying to slop it on there so that I can get to the other colors. And it will be easier, slower, but easier to get the other colors on here. I'm just gonna go up all the way. And then his neck is also black. Do you wash on the light colors like pink? Yes, I do. When I did Kimberly, for example, I washed the whole thing with a black wash. Last week on the stream, we painted Time Force pink, and same thing. I painted the whole thing pink, black wash, and then re-highlighted the pink. I like really dark recesses on my models. So just about, doesn't really matter the model. Most models that I paint them with a very dark wash. And that's kind of like a beginner tip, right? Like, considering black primer. So yeah, using black primer as opposed to doing what I'm doing right now is totally acceptable way of doing it, and it's probably a lot quicker. Here's the reason that I don't do that. I don't do that personally because, again, I like dark recesses, and in my opinion, it's very difficult to get dimension when painting black, because the color black has no shade. A shade of black is black, right? So if you want to shade your model, if you want to get a strong, dark recess, you can do that by doing the method that I'm doing. Again, takes longer, more patience, obviously. You mess up more. Like, this is sloppy as heck. It's going to take us a little while to get our highlights back. But in the end, I have more control over the gray that is ultimately going to be my shades of black. So that's why I do it this way. But yes, it would be way faster. We'd already be painting green right now had I primed it black. But it would have been, again, it would have been harder for me to get, to highlight the black. So it really is just about your preference. To you guys on the camera, it probably looks like that's black. It's not. It's about, I would say, 2 or 3 shades lighter than black. So when I put a black wash on this, it will go down to a black, but then I can highlight back up, and you'll be able to see some dimension. I think that's all of the black. Let's see, black on the neck, helmet, back, legs. Let's see the sword. All right, so the dagger has a black handle, which you can't see. And then this part right here is black. We're probably going to have to come back and redo this anyway, but let's go ahead and put it on for now. All right. It's pretty good. For green, we're going to do a base color of Wog Flesh and then highlight, and then we're going to go right over it with Warpstone Glow. The reason I don't do Warpstone Glow first is because it's a very transparent green. And, yeah, you just won't be able to see it well. Would have to do like 15 layers of green in order to get the Warpstone on there. So we need a base. Luckily for us, there's not really a lot of green on his outfit, believe it or not. All right, let's see here. Again, this color is not the final green color that we're going for. We want it to be much, much brighter than this. This is just a base coat so that the when we do put the Warpstone Glow on, it's not as transparent because it's a really, really light color. I've had a lot of problems trying to paint with it before. I don't know if this diamond right here on his back is green or not. Again, none of the pictures I have are... I guess there's 3 little cuts in the boots here. In the shin armor. Does anybody have the toy of this model? I think somebody in the chat said they did. Or the toy of the Psycho Ranger. I'm trying to see if he has this diamond on his back and what color it's supposed to be. Shag, does he have a diamond on his back? Like the belt area? It's right here. The pictures I have don't show one, but... Doesn't look like he's got that. Okay. I might paint it green. His belt's all white. It's just weird. It's just this, like, it looks like a diamond. Or something. Alright. It's white, okay. Well, then I'll leave it white. It could also be like, that's the one thing about toys, like you don't know if the toy is like, if the toy is screen accurate or if they just were like, oh, we'll leave it white because it would have cost us an extra 10 cents to paint that one little area a different color. Although if it's Lightning Collection, which I'm assuming it is, they do try and make those as screen accurate as possible, so that's usually what I use when I'm, like, reference pictures for painting the models. I usually use the Lightning Collection figures if they weren't in the show much or at all. Oh, Green's a comic book character, so he was never on the show. it here. Black diamond, all white. Or back diamond, all white. Thanks, Neo. Double confirm. We're leaving it white. Got it. Good to know. It's a weird spot for there to be an object that is not painted. Same thing with, like, I'll show you this one spot here in a second. So right here, on the leg, let me focus the camera so you can see. So right here on the leg, according to the toys and the screenshots I found, this strip right here is green, that I've painted green, right between the cod piece and the leg. But then on this model, there's this right here where my brush is that goes all the way around the leg, and then it also comes up. Now, according to the toy, that's all black. But why in the heck would there be a seam there if it's not a different color? It just doesn't make sense. Kind of drives me nuts. Like, I wanted to paint that seam green, but it doesn't go with what I've seen. All right. What am I doing here? Chest piece here. And of course, I realize that it's my model, so I could paint it whatever color I want. But I am always a screen accurate person. Like, I don't usually take, and I think I've mentioned this before on stream, I don't usually take liberties when it comes to models. You know, like, for example, I paint a lot of Marvel miniatures. I just go and find the most common outfit, and I just paint that. Meanwhile, I've got friends who are like coming up with all these really cool alternate schemes and stuff, and I'm like, nope, give me a screenshot, and that's what I'm painting. Even back in the day, all my Warhammer models were all like, if I couldn't find a picture, basically, to base my color scheme off of, I wasn't painting it. I enjoy painting, I just don't have the, like, color creativity. It's hard for me to look at a model and say, okay, what color do I think that this should be? So even for models that don't have, you know, what we would call like cover art, like Reaper Bones models, I'll go online and I'll see what other people have painted theirs as, and I'll find one that I like, and then I'll mimic that paint job. Giving them credit, of course, but the Psychos should all have the same paint job, basically. So you could look at red, pink, yellow. They were in the show, so if you want a reference, that's an option. Yeah, looking at the comic, like I agree that he doesn't have the color outline on the belt, but the reference picture that I have, I'm using like I said, I'm using the toy, and the toy that I'm looking at, it does have green outline on the belt buckle, so that's what I'm going off of. Um, but once I actually bust out the gold, I may change that. It just depends on how it looks. Right now, I'm just trying to get that chest armor piece, like around where his arm is blocking it. It's a really, really tough little spot to get into. You have a rainbow fish putty. That's kind of awesome. Not gonna lie. One of the main reasons I haven't painted my putties yet is because in my brain, it should only take me like an hour to paint the entire lot of them. Because in my mind, I have a system to do the whole batch in like an hour. And the reason that I haven't done it is because I'm nervous that it's going to take me a lot longer than that, and then I'm going to get frustrated. So, alright. Now we got to move on to the helmet. Yeah, the putties are a great way to learn, for sure. A lot of people that are new to painting, um, when the game first came out, you know, they were really nervous. And that was always my recommendation, was to just start with the putties. Because even if you mess up, you know, it's not like you're messing up on something you don't have 20 other of. So that's really good that you're practicing with it. Hmm. About to switch my paintbrush because this one is being fluky. I don't think that's a word, fluky. Once I finish getting the this base green on, I'm going to take a break and show you guys the cool thing that I found at the flea market yesterday. I'm so excited about it. You guys might not think it's cool, but I think it's cool. neon green. This green isn't being as good of a base color as I was hoping it would. Remember, I said that the reason that we were using this color was because the other color was really transparent, and this color is being super transparent. I think the green... Let's see, does the green go down around his chin? No. It's black under his chin. It just comes down to his face. They're probably not ears, but that's what we're going to call them. All right. That's all the green and the black. Obviously, like I said, that's not the green we're actually using. We're going to use this as the base green. But let's take a stretching arm break, and I'm going to show you what I got at the flea market yesterday. All right. You ready? Hold on, I got to set it up. Okay. I found Trini. How cool is that, huh? And the little flipping still works. Ready? I saw it like in a bin, and I was like, I told my wife, I was like, I'm buying this. She's like, what do you need that for? I was like, we were just talking about this on stream like 1 or 2 streams ago about how, you know, I used to have like all of these, and it's Trini, so who doesn't want that? It's like, it's got like a few scuffs like right here, and obviously it doesn't have like any of the weapons, but the fact that it still does the little head flip, I was like, yeah, I'm totally buying that. Yeah, I saw that they were making new versions of them. I just had to have an original for my collection of stuff. I don't have one of these in my collection, but I have a bunch of Power Ranger stuff over there on the wall. I don't know, I just thought that was really cool. Pretty good condition, I would say, for I only paid $1, so. And the guy probably would have given it to me if I was like, oh, I don't want to pay $1. He probably would have been like, just take it. But, yeah, I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, I'm going to show this on stream tomorrow. My wife's like, you're such a dork. I was like, I know. Thanks. Thanks. I know I'm a dork. I bet every one of us would have done that. Alright, so now we're going to switch over to Warpstone Glow. I feel like I need to flip my... This thing needs to be replaced. So I'm going to be about as careful as I was before. Not too much more careful. Because I'm going to have to, you know, fix everything in the highlight step anyway. But if anybody out there is looking for paint recommendations for all of the Green Rangers, my recommendation is Warpstone Glow. The first Green Ranger that I painted, I actually didn't own Warpstone Glow at the time, so I used something else. And then I went back and painted another Green Ranger with the Warpstone Glow, and it's like night and day, like better. So this is a very good green color for the Green Rangers, in my opinion. It was probably back ordered because everybody's painting Power Rangers. Yeah, it's a really popular green. At the moment, knock on wood. I don't have any wood around me, but knock on desk. This color's going on really well. Turbo dark colors for metallic. I have not tried that. I have painted metallic armor, but I didn't use that method. Matter of fact, we did it on stream twice, I think. Metallic armor. We did black metallic and we did blue metallic. Trivia while we're here. Okay. Shago says Psycho Green was actually once a normal ranger. He was a Trek, the sixth member of the Supersonic Rangers, which is the PR adaptation of the Sentai. 5-man. Okay. He got jealous of his Red Ranger and killed his team. Then he defected to evil and became the first Psycho. He crashed on the moon, trying to free Rita, and killed all but 2 members of the 1960s Mighty Morphin Power Ranger team. He survived that encounter, came back in modernish times, and resurrected the other Psychos in a weird attempt to make a family. Huh. Interesting. Thank you for the trivia. That's actually really cool. So someone said that Psycho Green was originally a comic book character. Does that mean that the other Psychos were not? They were on an actual show first? Yeah, the green is getting a lot brighter now. I'm just having to go over it multiple times to get it to brighten up. It's kind of one of the unfortunate things about this color is that because it is so transparent, it tends to be whatever, you know, brightness is of what's underneath it. So because we used a dark green base, it's wanting to be dark until I put a few layers on and then it brightens it up. The Psychos versus On Space Rangers, hence no green. The comics made the green the first cycle in pre-Mighty Morphin era. The others were on the show first. They tie into the overarching story of In Space. So is green generally known to be everyone's favorite? I was very when I put the when I asked folks on the Facebook group what they wanted to see most first, I was very shocked that this got picked first. Mostly because I am unfamiliar with it. I'm more familiar with some of the other things. Like Louie Kaboom and stuff like that. But he must be a fan favorite if a lot of people wanted to see him painted first. He was received well, but people who don't like Tommy seem to think it's a money grab at Tommy. Some people don't like him because he complicates the dynamic. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Um, so the Psycho Ranger comics, that was a separate series, correct? That was like a one shot, as opposed to like, I don't remember them like in Shattered Grid and stuff, or the current comic run. Although I admittedly haven't read every single issue, but I do kind of remember. I kind of remember there being like a Psycho Ranger like trade paperback at one point. It was a graphic novel. That's what I thought. I think I'm going to have to pick that up. I'll have to try and look for it tomorrow when I go out. Because, like, I have the entire Shattered Grid. And I just picked up all of the Power Ranger or Ninja Turtle crossover series. But I don't have the Rise of the Psycho Ranger stuff. Alright, the color is starting to really, really pop, which I like. guys have all the knowledge. One of the reasons I love this stream. I come here and I learn so much. The thing I like about the comics more than the show is just how the comics really bridge everything together and don't make you feel like, you know, the whole show is just making stuff up. Like, that's the thing with the show is, like, it seems they don't always do a very good job of bridging all of the shows together and making you feel like it's one universe. The comic does. That's why I enjoy the comics a lot. And in the comics, it's more, like, grown up, you know? Like, you know, Neo, that's a good question. I'm not sure if the comics are in Comixology or not. I'm assuming that it is. Because they're really popular. So I'd be really surprised if they were not. Yeah, pre-COVID, I didn't mess with the trades because I was buying the comics every single week because I'm really impatient. I don't like to wait for the trades. But since COVID and everything, I've been doing way more trades than I have anything else because I just can't get to the store every week like I used to be able to. Plus, we moved, so my closest comic shop is not as close as when we lived at the other house. But a few years ago, a buddy of mine and I, the same guy that lives in Italy, actually, that I played Power Rangers with, we used to go to the comic store every Wednesday to get all of our weekly stuff. I don't know why this color's not going in there. Get away with it. Alright, now that all the color, the green color is on here, we gotta pick out the few silver bits. There's not many. Actually, I need to fix a little bit of the dark gray real quick. Few spots that the black didn't sit well. Fix most of the other stuff in post shade. Alright, so for our silver, we're going to use Lead Belcher. And there's really only 2 bits that are silver, and that's his mouth and the blade. And then we have to get out our trusty friend gold, which we'll use Retributor Armor, because that's my favorite gold. Retributor Armor, I'll show you in just a second. That's the gold that I'm going to use. So on the mouth, it's really, he's got little jaggedy teeth that are black. And I just know I'm going to end up painting them, so I'm probably going to have to go back over them with black. Or maybe not. Maybe I can do it. No, I definitely got gold on, or silver where I didn't want it, but that's alright. Okay, the gold. Here's the gold that we're using, Retributor Armor. This is going to be... Actually, I just realized he has more silver than that. He's got... he has silver on his chest. So let's do that real quick. There's these little, like, buttons. They're probably not buttons, but that's what I'm going to call them. Yeah, the green's nice, huh? So he has 8 little buttons on his chest. That are silver. And then he's got some down here, too. All right. So for the gold, it's gonna be the rest of the dagger. And let's see the top up here. And then the belt buckle. All right. Last color before the wash is going to be white. For that, we use Althuan Gray. And really what I'm going to do with this color is just touch up where I got colors that I didn't want on the white. And then, but I'm not going to do it like perfectly, because this white is going to, it's going to get dirty and we're going to have to redo it anyway. So I'm mostly just doing like the big stuff, like back here where I got. Because remember, the our base color wasn't white or Althuan Gray. It was Wraithbone, which is kind of like an eggshell white. So this doesn't even match it. If you're going for like a very basic tabletop quality, you could stop after the step that I'm doing right now, and it'll look great on the table. You could also just put the wash on it and then stop. Everybody got really quiet. I guess I did too. White is like one of the only colors that like makes me nervous. I feel like I have to like hold my breath because it's like super visible, you know? Alright, so there's all of his basic colors, his base colors. Most of the outlines are pretty well painted. They're not, you know, too terribly jagged. So this would be you know, good tabletop quality right here. But now we want to. It's always chalky too. Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah, white is just horrible. White and yellow. And today green, just because this green is being rough. All right, we're going to use our favorite shade for this, Mill Oil. The only shade you'll ever need. I say that and I own about 30 shades, but if you only buy one, this is the one that I recommend that you buy. You could also use a dark green for this. You could use, let's see. You could use like this one here, this camo shade. But if you do, you're going to want to be selective. You're only going to want to put that on the green and maybe the black. You don't want to get that on the white because, yeah, you just don't. So it's just easier to do the whole model in black. Of course, I'm not following my one rule of washing. My one rule of washing is always start at the bottom and work your way up. Anybody want to guess why I start at the bottom and work my way up? Dripping. So that's part of it. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if you started at the top and moved down, by the time you finished, your middle section would be a little more watery than everywhere else, because what you did at the top would have worked its way down to the middle by the time you finished the bottom. But really, it's just personal preference. It really doesn't make if you're washing your model like I'm doing now, it really doesn't matter. Maybe it makes a little bit of a difference, but honestly, it's just personal preference. I was just teasing y'all. Because what I do is when I'm done, I'm gonna look over the whole model and make sure that make sure it's not pooling, make sure it's not dripping. If I didn't do that, then it probably would make a bigger difference. But I do a pretty good job of making sure that stuff isn't just being all crazy. I realize now that I missed a pretty important white spot that I'm gonna have to go back and get. He's got these dots on his knuckles that are white, and I completely didn't paint any of them at all. So now I just let it sit for a second and then clean my brush, make sure that my brush is completely dry, and then go back around and suck up some of the excess that I don't want in certain spots. looks good. We'll let it dry for a few minutes. While we're letting it dry, does anyone want to see anything from inside of the Psycho Rangers box? I can pull stuff out. We can look at it together. I'm sure everybody's already seen all the unboxings and stuff that are out there. But if you haven't, and there's something that you're curious about, let me know. I have the boxes right next to me. If you're curious about box sizes, the Psycho Ranger box is the same size as Shattered Grid, and the Machine Empire box is the same as the other villain set. You want to say In Space Red, all right. Do you want to see the rule book, or not the rule book, but the model or the cards? Here's the In Space model red. He's going to be a lot of fun to paint too, because and I say fun as in challenging. His little drill lance here is really close to the chest. Like, you can barely see the gap between them, so painting in there is going to be challenging, but because it's so thin, it probably won't be so bad. And I was really surprised to see that the lance is actually it's actually connected to his thumb. So like, he's resting the lance like on his thumb, and it's connected. It's not free, which is interesting. Yeah, that it's tough. I mean, even here on Psycho Green, like, we're having that challenge of having the arm really close. I felt that way about the original Tommy Green Ranger. The way that he's holding the dragon dagger is really challenging to get in there. I mean, that's one of the things with one-piece models. You're gonna have stuff like that. You can't paint separate pieces and stuff. But you're right, this the spiral saber here will highlight up really nice. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then he's got his little blaster back here. Helmet looks cool. Yep, he'll be a lot of fun to paint. Let's see, who else has like the Blue Ranger, In Space Blue. He also has like this gun thing here really close to his chest as well. This is more like the Kimberly Ranger, where basically his thumb is resting right on the chest. All the other Rangers, like the yellow one, like this will be really easy to paint, and fun to do. And then the Black Ranger, he'll be super easy to paint because he's completely free of having anything resting up against him. might as well show the pink one too. We've looked at them all. And she'll be super fun to paint. I'll probably paint her last just because we just painted a pink ranger, and I plan on painting all the rangers the same pink, unless somebody comes out with a pink that's closer to this. That's the pink. I mean, if you look on my palette, this is the pink that I used. You know, so. Psycho Red's really cool. Yeah, none of the other ones really have issues with having the weapons close to the chest. Just the red, red and blue. All the other ones are pretty, and of course this green guy here. It looks like a lot of the wash is dry. We're getting close. So we're going to start painting some of this stuff. I probably shouldn't bother with this right here, because if I'm going to put green in there, I'm going to end up getting green on the white, but... Yeah, it does. It does look good washed. You don't have to highlight anything at all. I got that way too wet. Holy moly. Sorry, I'm trying not to get it to be too chalky. That's why I'm like focused and not talking. So poll to the chat. What are you guys going to paint first when you get yours? The wash does show up on the black. That's why we decided not to. That's why I didn't prime it black, and I used that dark gray. It'll probably be really hard to see on the screen, but in person, especially once we put that dark gray back over it. King Mondo first. Well, good luck to you, Chaos, because that model looks like it is going to be the most challenging model so far that Renegade has put out. And definitely in a good way. I'm not saying that to be negative. So many details. So many details. Which, I mean, you know, if it's anything like when the original set came out, you know, I painted the Megazord first because I thought that was the most challenging in the set. So, I wanted to get the most challenging thing done first, which is what I did. Yeah, super fun to paint. Just so many details. It's crazy. Oh, well, thank you for saying that. Painting is all about doing it at your speed, your pace, on your budget with, you know, with your time. If you try and paint exactly like someone else, especially if you've never painted before, you know, you're gonna get frustrated. You have to find the styles that work for you. And I still, to this day, been painting for a long time now. Not long, 5 years or so. And I still watch people's tutorials and stuff to learn. But I take what other people's instructions, and I adapt it to my style. Where did Daddy Louie come from? That's a great question. So when we formed the Circle of Nerds, or I should say, you know, when we decided to move this, because Circle Nerd's been around for 10 years, at least. When we decided to start doing podcasts and YouTube and stuff like that, we figured we all needed nicknames because we didn't want people to know, you know, like our full real names and stuff. So, and of course you can't pick your own nickname. People have to pick your name for you. So, I actually, mine to start was a few different things. So they kept they couldn't find a name that stuck for me. Basically, I was the only one. At the time, we lived in another house than we live in now, and I converted my basement to a game room. And I wanted to give the game room a name because I don't know. I just felt like the game room needed a name. And I also had another friend who had a game room, and he had named his game room, and I thought it was cool. So I stole his idea of naming a game room. Anyway, I asked around what people thought the name should be, and my daughter, who was 9, 10 at the time, she said that I should call it Daddy's Dungeon. Now, Daddy's Dungeon obviously is not what I had in mind for my game room. But how do you explain that to a 9-year-old, right? So, long story short, it became a running joke that my basement was is the base on the Psycho warping. No, that's just from my my whatchamacallit, this clamp thing. It's holding on to it real tight. Is this a second white coat onto the wash? Yes, it is. So it became, the Daddy's Dungeon became a running joke, and somehow, I don't even remember how, the Circle of Nerds, the guys that I run the Circle of Nerds with, found out about it. And, they gave me crap for it, and it became a joke. And ultimately, that's how Daddy Louie was born. Daddy's Dungeon turned into, me being called Daddy Louie. Because I think at the time my name was like King Louie, I think, from the Jungle Book. Because my first name is Louie. So they were calling, at the time they were calling me King Louie. And I think one of the ladies in the Circle of Nerds was like, "Oh, I'll call you Daddy Louie." And then it just stuck. And I told them no. I was like, "No, I'm King Louie, blah, blah, blah." I didn't, because it was, at the time it was embarrassing. But I've completely embraced the Daddy Louie persona. I got my hat. And, yep. That was like 2 years ago, I think. That's where it came from. There's still a lot of wash in the neck area, so I'm trying to be really careful to avoid that. Looking at the clock, I'm starting to get nervous. I'm not going to finish. This is just the music is just a Spotify, No copyright. I think the playlist is called. Let's see, what's the playlist called? No copyright sounds on Spotify. I find it easier to just like press play and go. Um, I really would love like downloaded music. Because I've heard like there's some great like video game remixes that are not copyrighted and stuff like that. Honestly, I just haven't had the time to like sit down, find everything. Unfortunately, when it comes to stuff like that, you've got to like individually download like each song, and that ends up being really, really time consuming. I just haven't had time to mess around with it. Yeah, I got to do the royalty free. It's actually less for Twitch and more for YouTube because I know like Renegade um, puts all of these up on YouTube once they're done, and YouTube is like super weird about that stuff. Like recently, we did on one of our podcast shows. Jay Quellen, I don't know if she's still in the stream watching. Actually, she made a really cool parody for one of our episodes. We did a episode on the Masters of the Universe movie, and she did a really cool parody where she wrote all of her own lyrics and everything using the theme song to Friends, and we put it up on YouTube, and within minutes of putting it on YouTube was like, oh, you can't monetize this because the melody was copyrighted or some crap like that. And we're like, come on. Like, the lyrics were ours. It was crazy. So, yeah, YouTube is super finicky. Well, I think this may be the very first model that we've ever not finished on stream. And I'm honestly okay with that because I really want to do this model justice. We still have to highlight the green and the black. So I'm alright with it. I'm alright with continuing on the next. No, so the black that I used is actually not black at all. It's Vallejo model color German gray. And the reason that I do the German gray is because it can be highlighted. Yeah, I hope you guys don't mind continuing this on the next stream. Because like I said, I don't want to rush it. And right now he's looking really good. I don't want to screw it up by having to rush. I made my circles a little too big. If you wanted to stop, you could. You know me, we're gonna keep highlighting, and we gotta get our green back, and I think it's looking pretty freaking awesome. So as we start to close out the stream, just a reminder, there's no stream next week. We are resetting all of the streams to new times. So they're going to be taking a week off from streaming to do that. And also, it's a holiday, so no streaming next week. And then the week after that, when we do start streaming, it'll be at a new time. I believe the new time is 3 p.m. Pacific. But definitely stay tuned to the Facebook group and stuff to make sure that you have the right time. You can also friend me on Facebook. Louie Martinez is my name. My logo is my my profile. It's me as Goku, and it says Circle of Nerds. You can't miss it. My hat is my cover photo. And if you want to see more content from me, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Circle of Nerds. YouTube.com/Circle of Nerds. It really helps us out a lot. And make sure that you subscribe to Renegade's YouTube and favorite us here on Twitch. And join all the Facebook groups. Because there's always lots of really good conversation and good people in those groups. So, and if you don't do Facebook, like I said, I think there's a Discord too. So you always have that option as well. And we'll save this guy for next stream. because I really want to do him justice. So I'm going to stop messing with him because he's coming out really well. Anyway, yeah, that's all from us today. As always, I enjoy being here with you guys every Monday. Enjoy your holiday weekend this weekend and Monday, and we'll see you guys on the next stream. Oh, and don't forget, play your games. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.